You rode like a motherfucker,
Yeah.
and I was just like, hey, man.
You were eating your Chipotle burritos in the back. I'm like, come on, you're fat. Let's go. It's so true.
Dude, it is.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100 bands.
Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. Jessie Joy.
Hello.
I'm excited about this episode.
We talked about it like a million times.
Well,
the last
we
one.
cliffhangered the shit out of them last time, and we're like, it's coming. So the problem we solve, we're really clear on the problem we solve. We teach guys how to get their wives to actually want them again. Mm-hmm. Yes, want sex or give them sex, but ultimately this desire. This lady who used to really like you, this lady who used to lust after you, this lady who couldn't wait to respond to your text message, couldn't wait to go grocery shopping. Shit, remember when we used to just like going grocery shopping together?
Yeah, our last date. What do we do? Just something like easy. I was like, I miss this too.
Yeah, we went to Mexican food, and then we walked and went shopping at like Calvin Klein and all this other stuff. Okay, that was so fun. That's the problem we solve. We're very clear on it. That's what we do. And when a guy starts to become empowered, he starts to live this way of the provocateur. He's dialing up his dials. He's moving from disempowered to empowered. There will come a conversation that he has with his wife.
For her to step up.
Hey, man.
And live up to his new standards.
We teach that there's going to be some time. She's going to probably experience some PTSD.
Yeah.
She's going to see the new you and go, is this real?
Is it going to stick?
Is this going to stick?
That is, and we don't know how long that lasts. It was like months for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the phrase came from. You know, our standard does not, her response does not dictate our standard, because her response might be wait and see. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if this actually works.
Or more mad about, like, really, you weren't this guy a few months ago? Like, you become mad at it.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like almost every woman's like, what the hell? And then sometimes it comes to why did it take all of this for you to actually change? And they're like, well, I don't know, but aren't we glad I changed?
Yeah, and he's still holding space, that he's still that new, amazing person.
And a lot of times guys will get defensive at that point. Some guys, when they're trying to get their wife back, if they're trying to get their ex back or they're trying to get the sex back, they feel like they have to have an answer for their woman. Like, no, it's real this time. And we always encourage guys, how do you know? You don't have a crystal ball. Mm-hmm. Like, she's asking you if you have a crystal ball, and you're like trying to jump through hoops to try and prove you have a crystal ball, but you don't. Nobody's got a crystal ball. The answer is, I don't know. Let's hope. I'm doing this for me now, so I'm not doing this just to get something out of you.
That's the difference right there.
It is the difference, but a lot of guys can act empowered before they feel empowered.
Yes.
And that's a real thing too. Mm-hmm. So when they do have this conversation, or when this wife is watching and waiting to see, is this real? This is a very common response that women say, and it's going to kick off this conversation. The conversation from her end feels like, she says, I feel like you're pressuring me to have sex with you, and we have to have a great sex life, or you're going to leave. Mm-hmm. A lot of women have felt that way. Did you ever feel that way with me?
Yeah, in our beginning relationship, when you were dealing with all your issues and then you had broke up with me the 2 years in,
okay,
I did feel that way. Like, pressured to live up to your standards and what you had been through the last 3 years, dating a lot of women. And I feel like you would tell me stories that I felt pressured to live up to that.
Okay.
And that's when I started like losing myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think that's a little different than maybe the context we're saying here.
You asked
but
about
no. I'm saying that I didn't even think about that particular. Yeah. Like, so yes, you've now just classified a new pressure pot that I wasn't thinking.
Next podcast.
Wait for the next one. Yeah. To be continued on that one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, because I shared way too much about my past. Mm-hmm. With porn stars and all the different crazy shit I did. And you're like, it could have been just as simple, like, yeah, I've been around the block.
Yeah. I've done everything or whatever, but not the details. It was intense.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And that was probably my insecurity trying to land you, maybe.
Yeah.
If we were to, get our therapist hat on and maybe take a look under the hood, that may have been that. Mm-hmm. This other particular pod is more of the woman says, okay, shit, this guy's really rising up his game. He's really doing something special. And because we've seen this in our coaching clients recently, and they've said that they've had conversation with their wife and saying, hey, listen, I'm actually showing up the best I can. Now, you have to become empowered before you can ever have this conversation. If your side of the street isn't clean, I feel like I have to really...
You really do.
Disclaim that.
Yes.
So that guys aren't just like...
and throw that around,
I've been married game for a week. Dude, you know who I'm going to be?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like, nobody cares about who you're going to be. They're dealing with you right now. And so the disclaimer is you have to clean up your side of the street. And even in married game, we're like, go 90 days. Let's not even talk about her. Let's just get you cleaned up. But when they clean it up, and they talk to their wife and say, hey, man, I feel like I'm hitting your love languages. I'm really striving extremely hard to make sure that I'm being a great husband. And I'm doing all these things. I'm a great parent, all this stuff.
Yeah.
A typical response at that time from a woman is, I don't want to feel like I'm pressured into having sex with you. I don't feel like I don't want to feel pressured into loving you this way. And this kicked off a really interesting conversation for us. Not for you and me particularly, but with us, with the guys.
The guys. I feel like in those extreme cases that the woman's making a lot of excuses. And I'd like to dive deep into why that is. Because I never felt like that.
Yeah.
Because I loved you and I knew I was here to make it work. So I was trying myself. But some of the women say... they start making excuses and say, like, I feel like you're pressuring me, or I feel like that's all you want. But that's a part of their relationship. Yeah. And that's fair to ask for that.
Yeah. Well, that last line was it's almost as if women are telling man, it's not fair for you to expect that from me because now I feel pressured.
Yeah.
And the big breakthrough for us was, okay, let's just hold that thought. I also feel pressure to provide. I stop providing, the way you look at me radically changes. I feel pressure to be a good parent, not necessarily from you, but because the guy has just as much pressure to show up as the guy. And I feel like this, I'm feeling pressured to have sex with you. God, I feel like I gotta say another fucking disclaimer right now because there's some idiots out there.
Yeah.
And that is, we're not telling you to pressure your wife to do something against her will.
No.
We're not saying, you're my wife, you're gonna have sex with me, and now we're having it. We are not saying that. So for anybody who thinks that, don't think that anymore. But it's not pressure per se to be like, dude, I'm in a it's it. You're my loving relationship. I'm having sex with you. And we all feel pressure. And here's where it really kicked off. The guy was like, hey, I had this conversation with my wife, and she said, I'm feeling pressured. And he felt the need to release her from that pressure. And I'm watching him do some gymnastics to do it. And it's not just this guy individually. There's a lot of guys that have done that, myself included. I'm like, wait a second. What if pressure is not a bad thing? Everything, more pressure, more diamonds. Oh, yeah. But everything I'm doing is because there's a pressure on me. Yeah. It's either a pressure to go towards pleasure or it's a pressure to run from pain. But it's still a pressure nonetheless. So why are we trying to alleviate? Isn't pressure kind of a part of the package? What are your thoughts on that? Like, as we were breaking it down, and like when we talked about this, you're like, yeah, this, like you were thinking a lot when we were on that coaching call.
Because what you were saying was so good. It was so good. I feel like what you're saying is right because a little pressure is good. Obviously not a lot of pressure. We got to disclaim
pressure
that again.
Versus pushiness maybe is the...
Yeah, but like I have pressure. Women have pressure too. So men, women both have the pressure, but pressure to make our relationship amazing.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. And that is a part of the relationship.
Yeah.
Is sex, touch, loving, connection.
Yeah.
And if the woman's just getting all of her needs met and then she's like, okay, I'm not giving you any. And a lot of men, that's how they feel loved. Then that's not a two-way street together. That's one doing one and one not. What do you use the rowing in the boat? Oh, that's one person rowing and the other one just like, go ahead. Yeah. Keep going. Row me.
But But that go ahead, keep row me. God, you're nailing it. Know how you're saying this because it's you throw that hair around. Look at all those butterflies. What's up, Abercrombie? Oh, Victoria's Secret.
There you go.
Go ahead and row. Show me.
Mm-hmm.
Row for me and show me. I feel like that energy is kind of prevalent nowadays, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because it just seems it's very one-sided. And so the guy's supposed to be all these things, and when he is all these things,
he has to be all those things.
But we teach him to be those things because that's his standard.
And then after that, then this conversation needs to happen.
But just go ahead and row. The analogy is if we're both in the boat, and this having couples be pitted against each other is such bullshit. If we're on the same team, like if let's say we're playing a basketball game and there's 5 guys on the team and one of them laughs or likes it when his fellow teammate doesn't do as good because his stats are better, we would think, what a piece of shit that guy is. Like, it's a team game. It's a team effort. We're trying to win as a team. But I feel like that dynamic is really prevalent in modern day marriages where they're like, well, so you didn't do that. So there's almost like this moral high horse that each one wants to stand on, that they've got something over the other person. That's
sad.
Disgusting, right?
That's so sad.
I think it slips into marriages a lot easier than we think, though. Like
I've seen it in real life. And I was even trying to explain it like to the person to try to make them see, I'm like, this person isn't on your team. They're against you. And you would never want to be in a relationship with someone against you. Yeah. That's why, say if you do something human-like and I get mad, right? I'm like, well, I know he's on my side. That didn't come from a negative space. He has a big heart and he means well. So then we just talk about an grievance that I have to fix whatever had happened.
Yeah. It's, dude, the reason why I think it's one of the most powerful concepts possible is because it gives men the ability to say, I'm not pressuring you to have sex with me. I'm pressuring you to stand up to be a great teammate on this team, or it's not that I want you on my team. There it is. I want to be with you, but I want to be with you, but not as bad as I want to not settle. And if me living at an extremely high standard causes you to feel less than yourself, I can appreciate that and I understand that. But that doesn't give you an excuse to not either rise to the standard or to just maybe let's just call it quits. Because now if you feel so pressured to live to this high standard to be with me, and that's not something you've signed up for, then maybe I'm just holding you back and I'm literally like strangle holding you and causing you to be in a miserable situation. Maybe let's find a different alternative to this. That's really hard for people to do if they're not in an empowered state. Yes.
And one of our couples was saying that she's like, fine, leave me. But like, is that what you want? You want me to leave you? Because your actions are showing that. That we're not in this together.
Yeah. Well, it's the man has to make, the guy has to make the hardest decision ever. Now, nothing's forced upon him now. He went from the interviewee, please like me, please have sex with me, please come back, whatever it is, the pick me, to where they pick themselves. They actually lean into the work of becoming the most attractive version of themselves. Now the whole dynamic switches. And of course, they're going to give some time for the PTSD and the grace and whatever. And like, I'm rooting for you. I want this to be a thing.
Well, not every situation's black and white.
Not every situation is black and white.
Everything's gray.
But a lot of the answers from the woman is now I'm feeling pressured. And for a long time, I think I sought to alleviate that or to help guys alleviate that. But I'm to a point now where, having taught enough guys and seen enough situations and been through enough, where I'm like, what's wrong with pressure?
Yeah. When they've reached this point, then what's wrong with the pressure of having an amazing relationship together? We're both trying. That's the pressure.
Yeah. The best analogy that I came up with when we were just having our coaching session with the guys was like, listen, if you and I are both in a boat, I actually got to say a quote before I say that really, you obviously know who Alex Hormozy is. And I think he's one of the smartest business minds like talking today. Shout out to Alex and his book, $100 million offers. If you haven't read it and you're in business, you would do yourself a huge favor by reading it. His way of thinking is really powerful. But he said, what's the goal of marriage is to stay married.
Mm-hmm.
It's an infinite game, meaning it's not 9 innings in a baseball game. It's not 4 quarters in a football game and the game is over, the rules are established. He's like, business, relationships, life is an infinite game that the goal is not to get into shape. The goal is to stay in shape.
Right.
The goal is not to get rich. It's to stay rich. The goal is not to get a radically thriving relationship. The goal is to keep one till the end.
Nailed it.
But that's a cool reframe,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
It's a really cool reframe. So how do you know you're winning? Well, we're still married and we're happy.
Yeah.
How do you know that? Like, so what does winning look like? Well, if that's the case, and you and I are saying, I want to be in a relationship with you and I want to win, and I don't want to just survive, I want to thrive.
Yeah, I want to thrive.
I want to thrive.
Yep.
And I want to thrive with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in this boat together. And if I'm rowing like a son of a bitch, now the woman might think she rowed forever and he didn't, which is usually the case.
It is.
You rode like a motherfucker,
Yeah.
and I was just like, hey, man. Dude,
You were eating your Chipotle burritos in the back. I'm like, come on, you're fat. Let's go. It's so true.
Dude, it is.
And I was like, I threw you out and left you.
I love that we have the worst stories about
well,
me being fat,
yeah.
us breaking up,
I love that we can laugh about it now.
Amen. I agree with that. But I love that it's so relatable to like, look at these people. But we actually now have the thing, which is how are we winning? Well, we're thriving. So we're in this boat together. We're both rowing. If the woman stops rowing and the guy now is rowing because that's his standard. My standard is to row.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to go. And she's not rowing. Eventually, after going through a bunch of circles and having conversations like, hey, is this where you want to go? Do you want a thriving, sexy relationship?
Mm-hmm.
If she says, yes, I do. Okay, well then, you know how you
start
do that?
rowing.
You start rowing.
Yeah.
And what does rowing look like? That's a cute analogy, but what does rowing look like?
Trying, communicating, stating your needs and wants, listening to your partner, what their needs and wants. Continue to do that.
Yeah.
Try to let go of resentment.
Hell yeah.
Want to name some other things?
Well, I mean, you
hit them all.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Here's an exercise that we do. You and I have done this, and we're especially doing it with the guys. And by the way, if you want to see the show grow, if you want to see us grow, share the show. Don't be a nerd. Spread the word. We also have a live event coming up May 19th and 20th. I don't want to run a commercial or an ad on it, but I do want to tell you
Genius, right in the middle of the podcast.
Right in the middle of the podcast.
Wow,
yeah.
you're good.
Okay, thanks. May 19th and 20th here, Dana Point Man Cave. It is limited. We're only going to be doing it in this man cave, so it's limited to actually not that many people. So if you want to be trained by us and the wizard, our coach.
Ooh, our coach.
This is going to be.
I hope he shares all the juicy gossip about us.
He's going to.
I'm not. Share it all. I don't even care.
That's an empowering. Isn't that a great way of living?
Of course.
We're not afraid of nothing. I love that. So if we're saying we want to go in this direction, and you're not rowing, the exercise that you and I did and that I have the guys do is this. I'm going to tell you, here's the 3 things that you can do to make me feel radically loved. And there's no emotion around, like I'm not emotional.
Yeah.
It's just
facts.
When you do this, and this, you make me feel like the most loved man on planet Earth, and I can conquer the world and bench press the whole thing with one arm behind my back. Mm-hmm. You tell me, these 3 things make me feel so radically loved.
I probably have 5, but that's okay.
5, okay. 5.
There you go.
5 to thrive.
All right.
3 to glee, 5 to thrive. Okay. I can't help myself. Mm-hmm. It takes all the guesswork out. You know why that's so hard? Love the sound of that. Can you guys hear that? I want to see if they can hear this.
Campfire.
Yeah, dude. If we had a soundtrack with the sparks, that would be really dope.
You know why that's so hard, you were saying?
Because people have a really hard time admitting what they want.
Wow. I was going to guess it's because that's not my love language, so it's out of my comfort zone.
No, but if you can share with me your love language.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so if I go, hey, here, I need your 5 to thrive.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Can you write it down pretty quickly? You don't have to do it here online.
Yeah, don't.
No. I'm just saying, but do you think if
I'll think about it.
10 to 20 minutes, you could probably come up with five things that you're like, these are meaningful to me.
Yes. Well, it's part of the dials. That's what we came up with.
But I'm saying you could say, Keith,
specifically.
Let me give you an example. When you put your fingers through my hair when we're watching a movie, it makes me feel so loved and cared for. I'm not saying you would say
like rub my feet.
Or yeah, which I love that.
Yeah.
That was so funny yesterday. But a lot of times people can't say those things because they feel embarrassed for saying them.
That's sad.
It's so sad. And it seems like you and I are looking at each other right now, deep into each other's eyes, and we're saying it's so easy for us to tell each other what we
I'm like,
want.
hey, rub my feet.
Yeah. But even if you were to get romantic, like even if you're going to say, hey, I like it when you do this, we don't have any problem saying those things. And so I think we've taken it for granted how actually hard this exercise really is.
Probably because from the right beginning, you've been very honest and open about what you like. And if I don't fit in that, then, that's how we started our relationship, sort of to speak. So you're really good at being open about what you want because you didn't want to repeat your history.
Sure. Sure.
So I guess we have taken it for granted because you've always been really good at that.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like, well, I can share too.
Yeah. Well, dude, when you really every guy wants to know what makes his woman feel loved. But so many guys actually have heard it and they won't do it anyway. And so the woman gets exasperated. Like, I've kind of already told you 17 times.
Yes.
But I can tell you as a guy who has forgotten the 17 times before, what the 5 things are that makes you meaning. When a guy asks again, I would wish that women would see that that's him reaching out saying, I really do want to love you in a way. And I know I haven't been listening maybe in the past, but I really want to take notes now. Most women will be like, fuck you, I've already told you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do this again. And it's like that. That'd be like if somebody passed you the ball on your team and you'd be like, I'm never passing back to you again because I'm mad at you. Like when we use these stupid analogies, people look so stupid and we look so ridiculous the way we act. But if we just boil it down to a simple playground analogy, we're like, oh yeah, I kind of do that.
Yeah.
So this, hey, these 3 things make me radically feel loved. Most guys will say, I want physical touch. Most guys say, I want some words of affirmation. I want you to tell me how cool you think I am. What guy didn't grow up wanting his girlfriend to tell him how cool he was?
Yeah.
But if he's asked a lot of times and she doesn't respond, she typically will say, yeah, that's just not how I feel loved. Well, yeah, I don't feel loved with my foot rubbed either, even though I like physical touch. If you rub my feet, I actually don't think I would like you to rub my feet.
Not my feet, not your feet.
Yeah, I know. I know what I'm saying. Like
Rub
both sides,
else.
my third leg.
Yeah, exactly.
But both sides are probably resistant and bitter and resentful that either is not touching or not meeting them in those needs. And
you start not talking and start going down this rabbit hole of a terrible relationship. And then someone has to break it and you're like, who's going to say something? Yeah. And now it's awkward to even communicate.
Yeah. Although a phrase that I love that you always say is like, we need to put our swords down.
Yeah.
Hey, like that's really hard for
you. Just let it go. Just put it down. Let all that go and just say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the reason why a lot of people have a hard time saying what they actually want to is because they don't have a spouse that is radically receptive and probably highly judgmental. You and I are we are very non-judgmental people. We are extremely curious people. Oh, interesting. Why is that meaningful to you? As opposed to but hold on, even our beloved listeners who are listening can be like, well, yeah, I do say why. I want to know why. But their tone is, why do you want that?
Yeah.
Which means I'm judging you for wanting that, you dumb, stupid person. Yeah. Why would you want that? As opposed to, wow, well, why? Tell me more.
Yeah.
I believe curiosity is a superpower, and I also think it's a sexual lubricant.
Both, definitely.
Yeah. So back to the one topic that I want to circle back around. We've been hiking this mountain and climbing this mountain together, but it is the line from a woman says, I don't want to be pressured into that. So there's a couple of things that you can do to alleviate the pressure. but without alleviating the pressure. Number one, a woman might say, I've thought about this from a lot of angles, and I want to communicate all the different angles so people don't go, yeah, but what about the guy that's not that attractive? Of course, we said you got to clean up your whole street.
Yes.
But the guy he's got Dunlap disease. Do you know what Dunlap disease is? Where your belly Dunlaps over
Ew,
your belly.
yes. I was like, wait, yes.
You did the hand motion. You're like, you mean
Gross. That's gross.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that. And the lady's like, I wonder if we can help women become empowered to tell their husbands, I want to have sex with you too.
Yes.
But if I'm being honest, it's a little hard to get it up for this.
Because I don't think I said that to you.
I don't think you did.
I just let you get that way, and I was like, whoa. And
Yeah.
But all the other things were terrible too, so I was like, I got to get out of here.
Hey, that's another thing. I'm glad you said that, because that would be kind of like me saying, well, I have a pressure to be, I feel pressure to be in shape, and I feel pressure to be manly. Well, yeah.
I don't care. Go do those things.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Our friend's Beth told Brad, her husband, he got out of the shower and she was like, you're fat. And I just love that because he got in like the most amazing shape.
Oh, he looks incredible.
Yeah.
But
I love that courage.
Yeah.
So if someone can get that courage without hurting someone's feelings,
then
then maybe just a little bit. You're fat.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That was really perfect.
Thank you.
I can't wait to have them on the show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. We're
Yeah.
gonna have a lot of fun with them. Because they actually got divorced and came back together again.
I know.
Dude, some of the best couples we know, A.B. and Veronica, when they divorced, came back together. Garrett and Danielle were on the verge of it and came back together. You and I came back together. A lot of couples have been through this. I think either when there's infidelity or there's a breakup or there's a split or a divorce, it gives people the ability to be like, all right, do you want to tell the truth now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hey, guess what? You're
Let's
fat.
lay it out all on the table so we can move on from that old relationship and have a better one.
And the reason they're afraid to lay it on the table is why, do you think?
To lose that person.
Yeah, they're afraid they're going to lose them.
Yeah. But when you're not afraid of that and you have high expectations for your own life, you're not afraid of that anymore.
Yeah, so if these two people are in the boat and they're saying, we want to go there, and the other person's like, just be honest with me. Do you really want to go there? If you really want to go there, then we're going to have to both row. And rowing on me is, you tell me your 5 things, and I will start to show up in those 5 things. And guess what? The 5 things that make you feel loved aren't like things I'm like, yay, I'm glad she picked those.
Yeah, that too.
I'm like, no, that's what, she's a creature that feels loved by those 5 things. And they're probably 5 things that I'm not like really maybe double thrilled to do.
Mm-mm. Our love languages don't meet. We just try all the time. And
it's okay. So you said we try, and I there was an energy, not that you said it, but it's how I heard it, was more like I'm going to try you didn't say this, but this is what I think a lot of people think when they go, yeah, I'm going to try his love language and eventually I will like it as well. I'm going to try for you. And then if I keep trying, I'm going to like it, as opposed to, it doesn't matter if I like it. That's what, exactly. I'm with this person and I'm going to try, meaning I'm going to show up in a way that's meaningful for them. And the joy is showing up in a meaningful way, not in hopefully I'll like that activity one day. I'll probably, I don't know what your 5 things, I can tell you love acts of service and you can break it down into a love languages thing. That's simple.
I bet a lot of women too, it's acts of service without even asking.
Yeah.
Like, you should know me by now.
Yeah.
But that's how, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, you did that already? I didn't even ask you. Oh my God.
Yeah, like WD-40.
Oh my God. Yes. No more squeaks.
That was so funny.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but the funny thing is I did all the doors, but the one that was the squeakiest.
She goes, well, what about that one, Jovi? And it squeaked. That's the one door you forgot, of course.
I did like, I don't know, 11 or 12 doors, but the one in her closet that squeaks the most, I didn't even see it.
I know, but that's something I would totally do. Well, what about that one? And it's like the one you forgot. Well, of course.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So,
but you tried and I like it.
Yeah. So
and you'll continue to do so.
Yeah. Well, I want you to feel loved. Like, why else be in this relationship?
Exactly.
What the fuck are we doing around here if we're not like...
Then why are people in those relationships then? If you're not on the same team, making each other feel loved, then why? Then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Basically.
Getting frustrated, afraid to leave, and
living your life miserable. Your one little life that you get.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. I've chosen not to do that.
You hear that out there? That's
People?
an old lady in her walker and you see how loud
She
that
needs
is?
tennis balls.
I know. I need to, after we wrap this up, I got to go figure out when
Acts
I
of
hear,
service.
I'm going to go, what's that?
Acts of service.
But
cute.
I just feel bad for the old lady. And I was in a meeting last time I heard, I'm like, it sounds like somebody's like shoveling snow.
I thought
like,
so.
what is going on out there? But it's that. I'm going to help her.
Our listeners are going to love this.
Oh, okay. So, I think we said it. There's pressure on both sides. Pressure is good. It makes you rise to the occasion. Every time I go up to do stand-up, I feel a tremendous amount of pressure. Every time I go up to speak, I feel a tremendous amount of pressure.
Work, to make a lot of money, to be a great parent, all the pressures.
Yeah.
Why not have it in your relationship too?
Yeah, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because I like it, and I think I've heard it from others, but I don't know who I heard it from, but I'm going to say it anyway. Pressure is a privilege. It's a pressure. Truly, no pressure, no diamonds. Like that's a lot of these cliches are like, oh, that's cliche. But when I found that when I do what I say I'm going to do, when I say I'm going to do it without fault, like if I take my word as serious as I say I take it, and I really do, you actually love it.
I do.
Everybody, the person doing it goes, I love the pressure.
I love watching you do it too.
Yeah, because when the pressure is like, I overcame it. Like I did it. I rose to the occasion. And isn't that the person you want to be with? So it all gets down. But this is,
yes.
What happens is it changes from the interviewee, pick me, to the interviewer. And like, no, I've put myself through the pressure. The reason why a lot of things don't bother me like they bother other guys, I've been through it. And I go, oh, that wasn't. On our call today, one of our guys like, I'm not afraid of being alone. I've been alone for the last whatever. So you waltzing back into my life and thinking that it's great, you think I need this. I don't need this. I've done the work on myself, for myself to know I'm good with or without you. What a powerful, I think that's really probably what Married Game does more than ever. Like
it empowers people.
It empowers men.
Exactly. To be their best selves in an empowered state, to look at the world, their relationship, their kids, to start a new relationship. They come from this empowered state.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I don't think most men are used to making decisions from being empowered. There's a lot of disempowered men out there. Why are they so disempowered? I think our culture. Our culture has specifically pushed to disempower men because disempowered men are easy to manipulate and control. And but I'm really glad we hit this topic.
It was fun.
I think that it's going to prove to be radically powerful for these. And I think the last question I would have you guys ask yourself is real simple. And that is, are you operating from a place of fear? Are your decisions based on your fear of having something taken away from you? And if that's the case, that's a frame and a filter that will fail you. And it's already has. It's probably why you're sitting in the spot that you're in right now. So I've loved this conversation. I feel like this is a conversation that is going to birth some deeper truths for Married Game and for us. I think I heard another thing from Alex Hormozy today, and it was really so powerful. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. I've already been a fan, and I've had quick conversations with him because he's really good friends with Taylor and Dan, who are some of my best friends. He knows Garrett really well. So we've had some interaction and dialogue, and I've really enjoyed it. But one of the things he said, and I've always felt this, but hearing somebody the guy does $200 million a year in his portfolio of business. The guy understands value and how to create it and all those things. But he said, what's interesting is there's a lot of people that copy me, and there are a lot of people that copy him online. And he said the most empowering feeling about that is they need me and I don't need them.
Wow.
And I think when I think about a lot of the stuff that we say that's radically unique when it comes to marriage and sex and lust and desire and all these things, is because people do ask me, like people will send me screenshots of people kind of copying our stuff and I go, oh yeah, that guy actually went through our program and he told me he wasn't going to copy me, but 30 years later he literally copied me word for word. And it's just like, well, it doesn't even bother me because I don't need them. They need us. But I think every man should get to his point in his life where he feels that even within himself is like, I don't need you. I want you.
Exactly.
Because I'm confident in who I am. The things that we share in Married Game, either on this podcast or through however else we are getting the word out, it literally comes from nobody else, which causes us to feel radically empowered.
Exactly.
And that's what a category leader, category king looks like.
With our minds combined, this is what we brought to the world.
I love it.
Me
so
too.
beautiful. I love you. You look great
Aw.
today. You look smashing today. I know
It's
I
your
say
favorite.
that. Yeah, you did the thing. You did the thing. All right. Well, listen, hey, come to our live event May 19th, 20th. We will send a link out. If you actually haven't been on our email list yet, you need to jump on our email list at marriedgame.com. We send an email just about every day. And one of our focuses on our email is not to always ask for people. We have, I think if we send out 5 or 6 emails, Valentine, come here. If we send out 5 or 6 emails, 4 of those 6 or 3 of those 5 are simply just gifts. Hey, we want you to watch this. We think this will help you. We think this will really. I don't like being that spammer email guy that's always asking for something. It just doesn't feel good. It's taker energy. I like having giver energy. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. That was a great show, and we love you. Valentine says goodbye, and tell him keep crushing it. That shit's contagious. Well. You know. Goodbye.
I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'm